And do you want to? Okay. Do you want to put the agenda in the chat as well, or share screen? Well, if you're putting it in the chat, we can say you can look at the agenda there.
Because I don't know if people can hear me, but maybe they don't want to.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Welcome to our general meeting for koha-US. We always do one at our annual conference, and this year is no different. Although there are many different things, but in this aspect, no different. And Jason dropped the link to the agenda in the chat, so you can follow along there if you want. We have a couple of announcements. The international conference is less than a month away, KohaCon 2020, and they're doing a hybrid online in-person conference. They're doing in-person for folks in New Zealand and online for the rest of us who can't go quarantine for like 3 weeks and then go to a conference. If only we were so lucky. And so registration for that is free, and I'll send the link to Jason so he can put it in the chat so that everyone will have access to that. Also, Amazon Smile works on mobile now. We've already been using Amazon Smile and promoting it for a while, but recently it became available in the Amazon app. If you're using Amazon and have Amazon Smile set up for koha-US, you do have, I think, to go into like programs and features. Let's see. There's now an Amazon Smile option, and you have to turn it on, even if you already have it set up on your PC. So if you are using Amazon Smile but sometimes shop on the app, go ahead and turn that on. And let's see. Any other announcements? I think that other thing we talked about, Jason, I'm going to talk about in the conference related. So I think that's it for announcements. So next year, for conference related things, next year's koha-US conference plans, we are planning on oh yeah, thank you, Jason, for posting the KohaCon link in the chat. We are planning, assuming we're able to meet in person next year. And we're planning to meet in McKinney again, since that was the original plan this year and we weren't able to be there. We hopefully the tentative plan is to meet like the same week. They have an Oktoberfest festival every year downtown, and they are just securing the date confirmations for us before we make the official announcement. But I talked to like 3 different people last week, and it sounds like that's the plan, assuming everything falls into place. So we'll send out the dates once we have those specifically, and also we'll send out call for proposals in the spring for presentations, or early summer, probably late spring, for those. So we're excited to be in McKinney next year, even though we weren't able to be there this year. Our conference merchandise is available at koha-us.threadless.com, and I might actually share my screen and show that off a little bit. There. So we have our Online Together logo, shirts, mugs, bags. We also have this neat logo here and definitely some options. So if you want any koha-US swag, you should have entered our contest that we had on Facebook. Or you can buy some on threadless.com. But we did have a Facebook contest, and we are announcing the winners today at this meeting right now, as soon as I pull up the email that has them. So we had 3 winners from our conference, and let's see, we had Hannah Kroos, Kanali Woods, and Esmeralda Okay, Esmeralda Dudushi. I'm sorry that I probably said that terribly wrong. And so we'll be contacting all those people to talk to them about their koha-US swag that they won. Let's see. And I will find the agenda again.
This is a good opportunity to remind everyone you should follow us on Facebook for more opportunities to win prizes.
Yes. And maybe we can drop our Facebook link in the chat.
Ooh, do I have that one? I'll find it.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. And then our other conference related item that we have for today, actually, we have two, because in addition to the presentation that I did today instead of George, I believe Ed will be doing the very, very basic jQuery. Ed Veal from McKinney is going to be doing the very, very basic jQuery tomorrow instead of George Williams because he was not able to be here tomorrow. Um, so Bugapalooza is what we're doing on Thursday. I explained a little bit this morning about what that is, but I'm going to go over it again now. Oh, right. Yeah. Also, Jason, we should show off our conference shirts.
Oh, haha. My broken
So,
camera doesn't help. But yeah,
yeah.
they look really nice. I mean,
Yeah. And they feel nice, and you can get them in lots of different color combinations. And so,
and also, as Fred mentioned, you can get them printed on a mask. We have a variety of masks available as well.
yes, I got one of the masks. I couldn't find it after it went through the laundry. So I was going to have that to show off as well. Um, Jason, Fred can barely hear you, and Michelle can't hear you at all. You might be muted on the stream. So, okay. Oh, Heather said, congratulations to the winners. How about a Twitter contest next time? So that's definitely something to keep in mind because we do also have a Twitter page. Um, so for Bugapalooza, that's what we're doing on Thursday for our third day of conference. And it's a little different than what we've done in the past. So we're going to start off with like a sandbox demo and we're going to I'll do that, spin up a sandbox, test a couple bugs, so people who are interested in learning how to test bugs can get a little experience, doing some very simple bugs, doing it that way. And then after that, I'll be around to help people set up. That's all going to be in the Zoom room, not the same link that we have today, but we will be sending out a link to anyone who's registered. So if you're interested in attending either Bugapalooza or our social activity that we're doing tomorrow at 4 Pacific / 7 Eastern, also on Zoom, make sure that you're registered before the end of the conference tomorrow so that we can send out those emails to you, those links to you. And then, so for Bugapalooza, we're doing it a little differently, and we're going to have every half hour chunk or so, we're going to try to focus on a different set of bugs. This doesn't mean if you want to come that you have to focus on that set of bugs. If you just want to be around and have help testing items, testing bugs, have someone that you can ask a question if it's going weird. But it's a great opportunity, especially if you aren't as into testing bugs or comfortable testing bugs, to show up and have a discussion about here are things that bother me about Koha, or things I'd like to see happen, or things that broke where we can identify bugs, or bring some bugs that are in discussion to the group and have people comment on those on Bugzilla to try and get movement, because a lot of times those are just waiting for people who actually use Koha every day, and a lot of the people who are reporting bugs aren't necessarily the same people who are cataloging 8 hours a day. So there's going to be a lot of different sections there. We kind of modeled each half-hour group or section after one of our special interest groups. So we'll do like acquisitions and then cataloging bugs and then consortia related bugs or really any like multi-branch setup. There's a lot that we have in common there. System administration related bugs, user services bugs, and web development bugs. And that's set to end at noon. I'll probably just stick around and keep doing bug testing as long as people are interested until like 3 Pacific, because that's when I'm done for the day on Thursday. And if you want to test bugs, like we've often done for Hackfests in the past, when we've done that as our third day, we'll have people who are familiar with bug testing and familiar with Bugzilla if you want to get started with testing or commenting or anything. And so we hope that we'll see a lot of you there for that. Does anyone have any questions about Bugapalooza? Giving it a sec because the delay is much longer than it was this morning. Well, if we have any questions, put them in the chat and I will circle back to them. The delay is long enough that I don't want to wait too long. So we will go ahead to upcoming elections and we can circle back for any questions people have. So we've got elections coming up this December. Well, I guess voting's in November. This November with an announcement of the results at the December meeting. So if you are interested in getting more involved with koha-US, we've got 3 two-year positions open right now. So the first one is vice president. And to be the vice president, basically your responsibilities are, Ed asked if he's moderating the sysadmin, should you come up with a list of bugs? I'm also planning on having a list of bugs. I was mostly just going to look at some stuff that's newer stuff in discussion and things that koha-US is copied on that fit with the different sections so that we'd at least have some bugs to talk about and possibly sign off. And Heather said she'll have some bugs of interest to cataloging SIG, but we'll also show some newbie stuff, signed Bugzilla newbie. Yay. Yeah, the sign-off queue is huge right now, which means there's lots of things waiting to get signed off and not a lot of things getting quality tested because they're waiting for sign-offs because then they can't quality test them until they've been signed off. So if we could get more people doing more sign-offs, that's great. So for the vice president position, you start as vice president for 1 year, and then for the next year, you're the president. And then you're like past president the third year, which as far as I can understand is if we have a question for you, please answer it. That's pretty much the extent of what I understand past president to be. And so that's like you start out as the vice president. The vice president is the de facto chair of all the committees. We've been lucky enough to have, except the finance committee, that's the treasurer. But we've been lucky enough to have some people step up and be in charge of the other committees. So you're not doing like all of them because it's conferences and education and development and fundraising. And so it's quite a lot to run all of those. I did that for a while when I was vice president before we added some other leaders there. As the vice president, you also run the meeting if the president can't make it. So, if they're sick or have a conflict that month, then you would run the meeting for them or have connection issues. Treasurer, maybe John could talk about that a little bit.
The position of treasurer handles all of the organization's finances, writes the monthly report, and is chair of the Finance Committee, which right now consists of 2 people in addition to the treasurer. There's not really a lot of accounting involved, but there is certainly, like many things library related, a great attention to detail. When I walked in the door as treasurer in Coeur d'Alene in 2017, we had nothing. We had a folder from Robin Hastings, from Sunflower Bank, that had the entirety of our organization's financial history in its very thin grasp. We've grown considerably since then. We now have established budgets. There are quarterly reports. There is an annual budget that we stick to and processes in place that ensure that we spend our money wisely and on items of interest to the organization. The treasurer is responsible for monitoring all of these, as well as maintaining all of the financial documentation, both historical and current, for the organization, and serves as the primary point of contact currently for any financial organization with which koha-US does business. And right now that includes organizations like the bank that we use. It includes PayPal. It includes Threadless. If there's money involved, the treasurer is involved in, and by extension, the finance committee as well.
Thanks, John. Fred says you're not allowed to step down in the YouTube chat. Unfortunately, John's term limit is up at the end of this year. So we'll need a new treasurer. And then our other person is the member at large, supported. We have 2 members at large, 1 supported, 1 non-supported, and our current member at large supported is Megan Favre.
I thought it was Favre.
Favre. I knew I was wrong. Okay. Megan Favre at the McKinney Library, and she wasn't able to be at this meeting today. But the members at large come and are just, a voice on the... Did you just point at me, John? You're muted.
That was like 30 seconds ago with the Favre thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, I must have been looking at the YouTube video. I gotta minimize that so I don't do that again. So, Elaine is our unsupported member at large for this 2-year term. They alternate when they're up for election. So, Elaine, do you want to talk a little bit about being a member at large?
Okay, not a whole lot to it. I attend the meetings when I can and occasionally contribute something, but it's not much to it.
Okay, and thank you, Elaine. And Jason put a link to our bylaws in the chat here on the YouTube. So if you're interested in becoming an officer, you can read more about the duties there. And if you have any questions about what it's like to be an officer, you can email us and we can talk to you about it. And we'd love to have you be a part of our board here. So call for nominations will go out at the October meeting, and then we'll announce voting at the November meeting, or we'll have it ready after the November meeting and ask that if you're running, you try and come just to talk a little bit about why you want to be on the board. If you have any questions you can put them in the chat and we will come back to that. Now it's time for our committee reports. Conference committee, it's happening. I think it's going pretty well so far. No one's computer exploded in the middle of a presentation yet. At least if it happens today, it would be during this meeting and not during a presentation. So day 1, no fires during presentations. That's a win. For anyone who's not aware, our Koha-thon we had last spring online conference, my computer crashed 3 times while I was running the stream. So this is a much improved over that. And we talked already about next year's conference and the the international conference that's coming up. We have development committee. We have voted successfully on a development and are continuing to work on that, and should hopefully have more information at the October meeting about how that's going. Let's see.
I can. We are waiting on a contract from Bywater right now, I believe. I can put a link in the chat to the actual bug that we're looking to
Oh, that sounds
fix
good.
with that. I don't know if people can hear me now or not. I changed the input, so. Oh, Rhonda's in the
Rhonda
chat.
says-
She said that sums it up.
Yep. Okay. Education committee. So we're working on some more educational videos. We've got 3 Thursday videos up now, I believe. I'll double check that. They're not doing one this week. This week would normally be the week to do it, but because of the conference, they were skipping. That's 2 members of our education committee. Yeah, there's 3 up doing the terrific every other Thursday training video. So far, we've got jQuery cart enhancement, jQuery status enhancements, and some slip logic that I think uses jQuery instead of template toolkit, from what George was saying in the chat earlier today. And so those are all available on our Learn From Us page, partway down, and more will go up there, as well as just continue to work on that page and making some more quick reference guides. A lot of the people on that committee were also on the conference committee and or presenting at the conference. So we didn't get a whole lot of new content up this month, except for the terrific every other Thursday training videos. But we've got more in the pipeline. The fundraising committee didn't meet since the last general meeting, so we don't really have anything new to report there.
We do have Giving Tuesday coming up after Black Friday. We'll probably just have something on our website again and maybe tweet it out on the socials. And that's just a day where people give to charities, and as we are a 501c3, we like to put ourselves out there too. So check our website.
And I believe that's December 1st this year.
Okay.
Because Thanksgiving's really late. Yeah. So December 1st is Giving Tuesday. And yeah, keep an eye out for more information on that. Finance Committee.
This is actually a slow month for the Finance Committee. There's not actually a whole lot to report. The big quarterly reports come out in February and August and November. There's 82 members. We're actually doing very well. We've met our half-year membership goal. Usually we see an influx in membership related to the conference. We have not traditionally seen that yet, but we're doing things a little bit differently this year. If you remember filling out your conference registration, one of the options asked you is if you were a member of koha-US, and if you indicated that you were not, but were interested in learning more about membership, I'll be in contact with you shortly with regard to your membership options. So don't think we've forgotten. No, we haven't. We're just going to wait until the end of the conference in order to be able to do that. Normally, the Finance Committee report for the month of the conference would be filled with conference expenses. Online, there really are not a whole lot of expenses. There will be some related to this conference, but they won't really be captured until after the conference proper. So the October report will have some expenses related to it, mostly related to marketing and the distribution of information therein. The bank account is looking healthy. Again, there's not a lot of activity related to it. With the development work going on right now, that money comes out of the PNC bank account. So once we have the contract and once it's executed, payment will be made and that will be reflected in the bank account statement. A few things to note. We did receive our quarterly Amazon Smile donation. It was $75.26 for a year-to-date total up to $25.63. This is significantly lower than what we had budgeted, but we still really don't have too many years worth of data on which we can accurately base estimates for both income and expenses. So while this is less than what we had anticipated receiving through Amazon Smile, it's still really not of any matter of significant concern. The Finance Committee is in the midst of exploring additional digital payment methods outside of PayPal. This is being done in response to a comment received at Koha-thon in April. The exploration is currently going on by the individual Finance Committee members, and we will be reporting back to the board with a recommendation on how we think is a good way to proceed in addition to PayPal sometime before the end of the calendar year. And then, as noted by Lizette just a little bit earlier, I'm at the end of my term and I'm not eligible for re-election. Any member in good standing that is interested in running for the office of treasurer is encouraged to contact me, and we can set up a meeting so I can tell you all the ins and outs of what this entails, and you can then determine if your interest remains in this very valuable and important board position. Treasurer at koha-US.org is the best way to reach me with regard to any treasurer, finance committee, or position. And I look forward to hearing from everybody. That's the Finance Committee report for September.
And if you have questions about other officer positions, if you email us at info@koha-US.org, we can either answer your questions. That comes to me and Rhonda, so either one of us will answer it, or we can send it along to the correct person as well. Okay, so thank you, John. Fred wanted to apologize for the Amazon Smile. He's spending money as fast as he can. Thanks, Fred, for thinking of us. Tomas asked, what is Bugapalooza? Okay, so for Bugapalooza, we're doing, we'll do some like sandbox bug testing on some basic bugs for the first hour, and I'll record that in case we decide it's good enough to post later. And then we'll do, for each half hour listed on the schedule, we'll do a focus on bugs related to like acquisitions. So like if you want to talk about things in acquisitions from 9 to 9:30 or 12 to 12:30 Eastern time, or even if you're like, I don't know if this is even a bug, you just want to talk about acquisitions, and we'll tell you if it's a bug. If it's a bug or if it's a feature.
Acquisitions is filled with these features.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is just a good way. We want to get people discussing bugs, and if they're comfortable with it, testing bugs. And hopefully get some more people comfortable with bugs. Testing bugs. So that's really what Bugapalooza is all about. Also, when I told the general international meeting last time we had the general IRC meeting this month about it, they were like, that is the most American Koha thing I've heard. Bugapalooza. And I'm like, yeah, that is a very American way to put it. So that's what we're doing on Thursday. Let's see, we usually do open discussion of bugs, issues, etc., but I think we're pretty much doing open discussion of bugs and issues at Bugapalooza this Thursday. Register for the link. Make sure you're registered for the conference to get the link. And I guess I didn't really talk about our social event tomorrow. So tomorrow, from 4 p.m. Pacific / 7 p.m. Eastern, we're doing a little social event on Zoom. It'll be the same Zoom link that we're using for the Bugapalooza. We'll just use it like Wednesday night and Thursday. I have to stop looking at the YouTube chat because I said we're using the same link, and then Jason shook his head on the YouTube because he had been shaking his head about something else. And I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not right. So we'll have the Zoom room. We have breakout rooms turned on, and so we'll have, people can talk. about Koha stuff, life stuff, whatever. We're also going to have some games available. I have a number of Jackbox Party Pack games that I can run. We also talked about some other like online options for like how to do categories online or online bingo. And so we'll have options such as these, or people can just hang out, eat their dinner and hang out and get some social time. Usually when we're doing a conference like this, we'd have, go out. Like last year when we were in Pueblo, we went to that restaurant while they were roasting their peppers for the pepper festival and had like the whole back patio, things like that. And just generally, we can hang out some outside of the conference. And so we wanted to try and do that a little bit here as well. So we hope you'll join us for that. But again, you have to be registered in advance. Fred said, see why John isn't allowed to step down in the chat. If anyone has any bugs that they want to talk about or want us to talk about, you can put the numbers in the chat. The link won't work. And we have about 10 minutes, right? Let me pull up the schedule.
Yeah, we said till the top of the hour for this.
Yeah, so we've got about 10 more minutes. If you have bugs that you want to talk about, or if you if you can't make Bugapalooza and have bugs that you'd like to see discussed, you can email them to me at president@koha-us.org or to info or to conferences@koha-us.org, and we'll make sure to have them for our event on Thursday as well. And otherwise, I think we're probably pretty close to wrapping it up for the day.
I have been posting what I have on the schedule as we go. So for the first presentation, we had slides and a recording. And for what slides, the agenda for this. So if you're following us on our sort of homepage for the conference, and I'll post that link again, you can find links alongside the individual presentations on the schedule, and we'll work on getting that a little more organized in one place on the screen. And we're also planning on taking the video on demand from YouTube and chopping it up so we can get recordings for our live presentations, and we hope to have that done by Bugapalooza-ish, depending on how long it takes for YouTube to process, I think, and then Jason to process after that.
Yes, and actually I think we'll have Cindy emailed me her slides, so I can post those or forward them to you, and then we'll have pretty much all the slides from today up today. That's the fastest we've done it. This is what happens when we ask for slides in advance. We talked about that last year at the meeting, and it worked out well this year for us. So, yeah, thank you everyone for coming to our first day of the conference. I think it was successful, and to our business meeting, and we hope to see all of you tomorrow as well. We're starting the day tomorrow with Koha Mig, a Git-like tool for migrations and data projects. They talked about that a little bit at the first presentation this morning as well. So, and
we will have a new link for tomorrow. So make sure you're following the day 2 stream or coming to our YouTube channel to get there.
Yes.
And we'll post that link. I posted today's link on the front page of our website. I'll do that again tomorrow, so we can. You can just go to koha-us.org and get directly here.
Okay. Thanks very much, Jason, and everybody, and everyone who showed up today. And we'll see you tomorrow.